Alright, this is John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. You caught me right in the middle of making 100% fresh fruit juice. You might be thinking, John, fruit juice, that's bad, man. You're removing all the fiber. Well, we're going to cover the fiber element in a minute. We're not removing all the fiber. There's still some fiber in the fruit juice. But in this episode, I hope to cover the topics of fruit juice and why it is actually not that bad as you may have been led to believe. First thing, let's go ahead and turn this juicer off. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this episode is for educational purposes only. Before making any dietary changes or adding things, taking away things from your diet, please consult a medical physician, somebody that's, has a background in nutrition, all this kind of stuff. In this episode, I'll be sharing my personal opinions and also some of the research that I've come across and what I believe, is true and accurate. All right? So let's go ahead and get into this episode. So the first thing I'd like to say in this episode is that today I'll be talking about fresh fruit juice that you could make with your very own juice extractor at home using fresh fruits like I'm doing today. Organic strawberries and antioxidant-rich blood oranges. I'm not going to be talking about, juices that you buy in the store. To me, this is a completely different animal than something you can make at home in your own juicer using fresh fruits and vegetables. On the back here it says, let's see, 100% fruit juice. And number one is, how do you know if it is truly 100% fruit juice? You got to trust the manufacturer that they're not like diluting it down. It's not reconstituted from concentrate. They're not adding additional sugars, any kind of preservatives, or who knows what they did. Plus, this is ultra filtered. I mean, this is almost like the consistency of water, and if we pour this one out, you can see that's pretty viscous. That's pretty thick there. That's because of all of the different fibers and pectins and whatnot. And in one of these, when they're filtering it all out, there's not going to be the rich, delicious goodness that you should be getting. That being said, some of the research that I'll be quoting in this episode is actually done on processed fruit juices. So even these guys may not be that bad. That being said, I will not touch these with a 10-foot pole myself. I would much rather drink fresh-made juices, or better yet, just eat the fruits. So first off, I want to say is that in my opinion, from what I hear, many people falsely believe that basically fruit juices, fresh made of course, or the devil. You should never drink them because they are high in sugar, right? And in my opinion, this is some myths that have been propagated by people that maybe are eating, different style diets that don't include a lot of carbohydrates. There are pros and cons to every different kind of food in the world, and in my opinion, fruits are one of the healthiest. First, I want to say that many people may falsely believe that fresh-made juices that you make yourself in your juice extractor are bad for you, and they're too high in sugar, and you shouldn't drink them at all costs, and they should be avoided, actually, right? And in my opinion, this could be nothing further from the truth. This is completely false, in my opinion, and based on my research. There's certain kind of dietary camps that might emphasize certain kind of macronutrients, and that may not include a lot of carbohydrates, and fruits can be high in a lot of natural carbohydrates. And that being said, they also have a lot of other nutrients. So anyways, I want to share you guys some of the facts of the matter, alright? Number one, fruits contain more than just sugar. This may be a surprise to you guys out there, but fresh fruits contain more than just sugar. Mostly, they don't have mostly sugar, right? That's when you eat a fruit. It's not like eating a chocolate bar or candy bar that's super sweet, right? They have mostly water, and that is actually one of the best waters on the planet, in my opinion. Even better than drinking water out of your tap that may have chloramine, chlorine, fluoride, chemical contaminants in there. This is water actually filtered by the Mother Earth and by the fruit trees that pull up the water that is basically filtered and then put into a plant in a structured format. In addition, besides the sugar, the fruits also have plenty of fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, vitamins and minerals, and more importantly to me, the antioxidants and polyphenols and all the different things that help keep us young and fight disease. Number two fact that I like to share is that when you make a fresh fruit juice, say I juiced this whole pineapple, right, and made a juice out of it, right, there is not going to be more sugar in the juice I made with this pineapple than what would have been in the pineapple in the first place. I'm not magically adding sugar, although there have been some restaurants I've been to in Florida where they juice sugar cane and then they add in white sugar to it. Not talking about that. Actually, there's going to be less sugar when you juice a whole pineapple than when you eat it, because of the fact that when you juice it, some of the sugar is coming out with the insoluble fiber right here. Third fact I want to point out is that when you juice fruits, it's going to keep some of the fiber, right? There's two main types of fiber that's been identified. Actually, there's a lot more, but the two main types I'm normally talking about are soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, right? Soluble means dissolves in water. So when you juice the fruits like I did here, all the soluble fiber comes out in the juice because it's soluble, it's dissolved in water. So if it's liquid coming out, it's got the soluble fiber in there. That being said, there's another kind of fiber, insoluble fiber, that does not dissolve in water. And generally that's what's coming out over on this side of the juicer, all the insoluble fiber. That being said, you know, especially like a vertical juicer like I'm using today, the Omega VSJ843, which in my opinion is the best vertical juicer for juicing fruits, it's not 100% good at removing all the insoluble fiber, right? If we take this juice and we like shake it back and forth, you guys can see that it's pretty thick, and you can actually see like flecks and particles and things inside the juice. It's going to leave as well some of the insoluble fiber in there, although most of it is being ejected. Now, if you're using something like a pure juicer, which is a two-step hydraulic press grinder style juicer, that juicer with a filter cloth bag with mesh sizes or the hole sizes on the filter cloth are so small that, in my opinion, will actually hold back more of that insoluble fiber in there, and then you're basically just going to get the soluble fiber in your juice, and you're going to have a much more clear juice, right? And that's why I like to drink fresh juices, especially fruit juices, that are nice and cloudy and maybe even have some kind of sediment in there, because you're going to get more of actually that soluble fiber. Now, the amount of soluble fiber you're going to get depends on the fruit specifically, right? Some fruits have more soluble fiber than others, right? And there's always a ratio, right? So, for example, on papaya, if you're juicing papaya, one of the things I like to juice sometimes, you're still going to get about half of the fiber that was in that papaya to begin with, because about half the papaya fiber is actually the soluble fiber that actually dissolves in water. And also, when you juice papayas, it's really thick. I mean, especially in juicing in the VSJ juicer, it's not like as thick as a smoothie, because that's all the fiber, but it's a pretty thick juice. It's not like a watery juice like you juice oranges, you know. That's going to be much more watery juice than, say, the papaya. That being said, if you juice something like a pineapple, right, there's actually very little soluble fiber in a pineapple. It's mostly all insoluble fiber. So when you're juicing pineapple, you're going to keep, like, maybe, if you're lucky, 10% of the fiber in the whole pineapple. So, you know, this does concern you. You do want to get more fiber. Please choose your fruits wisely. Fourth fact I want to share with you guys is that 10 grams of sugar that you made in a, you know, glass here with the juicer from fruits is not the same of 10 grams of sugar from white powdered crystalline sugar. You know, some people have a hard time differentiating sugar, sugar, sugar. Sugar is not sugar. Sugar is not sugar, right? It depends on the sugar source, right? White powdered sugar is highly processed, highly extracted, and basically you got nothing in there but the sugar, right? Very little, if any, and probably none, other different vitamins and trace minerals. There's definitely no water in there. There's definitely no antioxidants in there because it's highly processed. And this, in my opinion, is very bad, and we should steer clear of processed, extracted, highly refined sugar products. Whereas if you juice and you have 10 grams of sugar, yeah, of course, there's 10 grams of sugar in there that could be the same as the sugar, like, you know, in white powder. But you also have the structured water. You also have the vitamins. You also have the minerals. You also have potentially some beneficial microbes in there that was actually living on the fruit when you juice them. You also have potentially some of the prebiotic fiber in there, as well as some of the, you know, soluble fiber, and maybe some of the insoluble fiber mixed in as well. And let's not mention probably the most important thing in the fruits to me are the antioxidants. These are the properties in the fruits that help keep the fruits fresh, and also when we eat them, they help keep us young and disease-free. Fact number 5 is only 1 in 10 Americans actually meet the requirements of eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And hopefully, since you guys are watching this video, that's not you. But so many people do not meet that requirement, and I think this is really sad. And if a fresh fruit juice can help more people meet the requirement of getting their minimum servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I think that's great. I mean, I probably eat 20 plus servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Actually, for breakfast today, I juiced like, how many pounds did I juice, man? I had like 48 ounces of juice. So that's like around 5 pounds of produce, 5 to 6 pounds of produce I drank in one juice. And, you know, that easily met my servings of fruits and vegetables. And I'm not done yet. I'm still eating more fresh fruits and vegetables today. So once again, fruit juice does count, or it says, specifically say fresh fruit juice counts, you know, as going towards some of your fruit and vegetable servings. The sixth fact I want to share about fruit juices is that not all fruit juices are created equal, right? Super simple concept. In my opinion, while I think pineapple juice is great to sweeten up a green juice, it's a rare day that I actually juice straight pineapples because they are pretty high in sugar, and of course they have things like the bromelain, which is enzymes that may help reduce inflammation. They have vitamin C and different bioflavonoids and all these things, and it's a great juice unto itself. But in my opinion, juicing something like blueberries or strawberries that actually have a lot lower sugar content and a lot more anthocyanins and different pigments, and you know, it's basically a lot healthier for you, right? So you can't just say all fruit juices are bad, right? Blueberry juice, how about if you made like elderberry juice or ackee berry juice, right? These fruits actually have very little sugar. They're super high in antioxidants. So, I mean, basically they're probably like vegetables because they have so little sugar in there, but they're so high in nutrition. And so I want you guys to be careful and cautious when juicing fruits. If you do think of it as a concern, is to juice some of the higher antioxidant fruits. So just a real quick tip here is if you are picking out apples to juice, for example, try to get the deepest, darkest, richest colored, you know, reddest, or even black, Arkansas black apples, you know, because when you juice, you're going to get some of the nutrients out of the skin of the apple that's going to end up in the juice, and that's going to end up in you. So we want to always try to choose the highest antioxidant fruits as we can. So now I want to show you guys actually my thoughts on juicing fruits, right? So my first thought is I want you guys to think in terms of good, better, best, not right, wrong. So if you think right, wrong, you think, okay, there's only two options. Fruit juice is good or fruit juice is bad, and there's no in between, right? I think you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater in that case, and I want you to think of terms of good, better, best, right? Hey, if a fruit juice, you know, you make a fresh fruit juice and you drink that instead of a soda, a diet soda, even worse in my opinion, that's a great move and a better direction in my opinion, right? If you make a fresh fruit juice and that gets you to stop drinking your vegetable juice because now you're drinking the fruit juice, maybe that's not the best move in the right direction. Although if you make a vegetable juice with just a few fruits added, so now the vegetable juice tastes good for you, I think that's a good thing, right? So it just depends on you, and I want you to think in terms of good, better, best, right? Hey, fruit juice is better if it's displacing some of the other junkier foods, processed foods, animal foods that you would otherwise be eating in your diet. So the next point I'd like to make is that if a fresh fruit juice allows you to eat more fruit than you normally would have, I think that's a good thing. You know, as I said earlier, it's a fact that most people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. Hopefully, you know, most people don't eat probably enough vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables, but hopefully, it means there's all kinds of different people out there. Some people hate to eat fruits because of the texture, because of this, because of that, because they got to peel it. And if you make a fresh fruit juice and that gets you to eat more fruits than you normally would have, I think that's definitely a good thing. The next point I'd like to make is that I would personally rather eat fresh fruits instead of juice them, for the most part, right? Because when we eat them, we're putting the fruit in our mouth, we're chewing them, we're hopefully taking our time to chew them, we're tasting them, we're enjoying the flavor sensations, we're mixing our saliva in with the fruits to help our digestion, we're moving our mouth, which actually kick-starts our digestive system lower in our bodies going, and so I'd rather eat them personally. But there are instances when actually I like to juice the fruit. So for example, you know, if I get a watermelon and I go to eat it and I'm eating it and it's just not enjoyable to me, I don't like to waste food. I don't throw away food if it's not good like some people I know. I like to actually take it and juice it so that at least I could get the rich, you know, structured water with other vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in there. And basically I'll then compost the pulp. So now I have a better tasting to me. Plus I feel that I'm, you know, getting the benefits from it instead of just saying, oh, this is a crappy watermelon, I'm going to throw it away or not eat it. Another point I'd like to make personally is that I would rather drink a fresh fruit juice that I made with my juicer than any kind of animal product. Instead of eating meat, instead of drinking a milk, instead of eating ice cream, instead of eating eggs or whatever, you know, I would much rather choose a fresh fruit juice, because in the fruit juices, unlike some of those animal products that I listed, you know, this has high antioxidant capabilities, right? These are the nutrients in the fruits that actually help keep you young and can keep disease at bay. The other thing I'd like to say is that instead of eating dried fruits, right, I personally would rather drink fruit juice, right? Dried fruits basically have the water removed, but they keep all the different fiber. You lose some of the phytonutrients because of the drying process, and it also concentrates the sugar because the water is not there. That being said, when you're making the juice, you're removing some, but not all the fiber, as we learned, but you're also keeping the structured water, which in my opinion is even more important, the structured water, and eating things and drinking things that have high percentage of water content in them. We are 70 to 75% water, and if you're eating things without this water content, it's dehydrating you. That, based on my opinions and my research, can cause many health challenges. The next point I'd like to make is that the fiber in the fruits are just a small component of the fruits overall, right? Fruits, they're mostly water, right? They also have vitamins and minerals and sugars and the fiber. Fiber is only one thing that you remove some of when you are juicing. My next thought is that there are all kinds of different fibers. I've only talked about 2 kinds today, soluble and insoluble, but they are classifying fiber in so many different kinds of ways, and I'm not a scientist to keep up with all them. But that being said, you know, for me personally, right, what I would rather do, even though I'm removing the fiber in the juice that I'm making today, right, this fiber is not super valuable fiber to me because it's been extracted from the fruits. And the most important part of the fruits to me are actually the antioxidant pigments, vitamins and minerals that are in there. So for example, for me, you know, you could dehydrate this fiber to eat it, or, you know, use it in baking or cooking. To me, if I wanted to add fiber to my juice, I wouldn't add this fiber. What I would do is I would take some 100% whole flax seeds, I would turn that into a powder in a coffee grinder or a blender, or now I use a vacuum blender, and then I would actually add that flax meal to my juice. This way I'm actually adding back fiber into the juice, if that's what you want to get. And the flax fiber has been shown in different research studies to actually reduce the amount of breast cancer growth, which is totally insane. And in addition, when you're having the flax fiber, there's a lot of other things in the flax fiber besides just the fiber itself, right? There's lignans and omega-3 fatty acids and all kinds of different stuff, right? So just think, if you're removing some of the fiber from the fruits, hey, that's great. Add in other kinds of fiber if that's what's going to float your boat, so that you could actually, get it in you. Another comment I have and would like to share is that I believe that the vegetable juices, especially the leafy green vegetable juices and other vegetables, in my opinion, are more important to eat in our diets than the fruit juices, right? So if you're just new into juicing and you just are getting used to it, hey, it might be good to start off with some fruit juices, right? Have 100% fruit juices, but slowly but surely add the vegetables. So maybe the first week you have all fruit juice. Hey, you love that, it tastes good. The next week, do 90% fruit juice, 10% vegetables. And look, oh yeah, that tastes good. It barely tastes any different than the 100% fruit juice you're drinking. Maybe the next week then go to 80%, right? You have 80% fruit, 20% vegetables, and that's 20% vegetables you might not have normally otherwise have eaten. Slowly over time, reduce the amount of fruits you're juicing and increase the amount of vegetables so you can get on more of a vegetable-based juice. Maybe for some of you guys, you might be able to get to 100% vegetables because it tastes good to you. Maybe some of you other guys might always need to keep 25% of the fruits in there so that it tastes good, so you could at least get them in you. And I don't care where you guys end up, the goal is to get more vegetables. And, you know, hey, fruits are good too, but you got to really get those leafy green vegetables as well as the other vegetables. Today I juiced like all these vegetables and like one small pineapple, and I made like, let's see, 96 ounces of juice approximately. And so I have basically one pineapple in there, sweeten all these other vegetables like broccoli, I have beets in there, zucchini, celery, and carrots. Oh, and ginger. Let's not forget the ginger. And it made that juice taste amazing with just one small pineapple, right? So you don't need to add a lot of fruit and work on weaning yourself off it. Of course, a fruit juice is still better than most beverages you'd buy in the store. My final comment and thought I'd like to share today is that when you're juicing fruits like I'm juicing today, right? Hey, I'm juicing blood oranges, and if you guys could see, I've kept on a lot of the white pith on the blood orange. On oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, you should cut off the coloring on the outside, but leave as much of the pith. On lemons and limes, you can just throw those through the juicer, whole, juice the skin and all. There are indigestible chemicals in the skin of the oranges, grapefruits, and tangerines that should not be eaten. But actually, one of the reasons why I like juicing fruits, instead of eating them in some cases, is because you're going to get access to some of the nutrients in the skin or the seeds that you wouldn't have otherwise eaten. So when I juice apples, right, I throw apple seeds through the juicer. You're thinking, John, wait a minute! Apple seeds, man, they contain cyanide. That's hard, that's bad. So, you know, in my opinion, you know, a few apple seeds through my juicer and drinking the juice, I'm going to get some of the beneficial nutrients in apple seeds. And if you look up B17, laetrile, that's in the apple seeds, and they say that's good for anti-cancer. That being said, you know, too much of any good thing could be a bad thing, and if you eat nothing but apple seeds, that's probably a really bad thing. But I don't have a problem juicing apple once in a while with some seeds in there, right? Likewise, you know, if I juice watermelon, I'll juice the watermelon rind. The watermelon rind is probably most nutritious part of the watermelon because that has all the chlorophyll in there, right? Also, when you're juicing the watermelon, get the seeded watermelons. And then when you juice the seeds, you're going to get some of the essential fats, some of the fatty acids out of the seeds because depending on the juicer, it's going to grind the seeds up and put some of the seed juice literally into your juice. You know, same thing I do when I use cactus fruits. It grinds up some of the seeds to some extent, and I get some of the nutrients and some of the benefits from the seeds into the juice that I definitely wouldn't have eaten otherwise. And if I did the seeds on the cactus fruit, they'd go right through me altogether. In addition, you can juice even the skin of pineapples. I don't know how many guys actually eat the skin of pineapples. I haven't met too many people that do that. That being said, if I was juicing the skin of pineapples, which I normally don't do, I would make sure that they are organic pineapples because non-organic pineapples are sprayed with all kind of pesticides, and you don't want those running through the juicer and those pesticides coming out in your glass either. So now I want to get into the 4 reasons why fruit juices are not as bad as you think. Reason number 1, if drinking fruit juices allows you to increase your fruit consumption, that's definitely a good thing. I don't think anybody could argue with this point because as a nation, we're deficient in eating fruits and vegetables, right? And fruit juices, although you're removing some of the fiber when you do it at home, you're keeping all the other nutrients in there, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, right? The structured water, the antioxidants, which are so critical for health. Second reason, fruit juices are not as bad as you think because fresh fruit juice you make at home are still healthier than most other foods that you could buy in the grocery store. You know, if you're still buying Oreos, soda, you know, diet cheese, vegan bread, these are highly processed and in some cases grain-based products that in my opinion should not be eaten, right? Fruit juices are, fresh fruit juices you make are still far better than most of those things, especially, you know, they're better than animal products and dairy and bacon, hot dogs. You know, fruit juices are still rule all over those guys in terms of nutrition. Reason number 3 is that fruit juices can have the same health benefits as eating the fruit itself, and they have documented research, scientific studies on this. I'll post some of the links and sources down below to all these journal studies that I looked up to make this episode. But so for example, when you're juicing strawberries, you're gonna basically get some of the same benefits as you would if you ate the strawberries, because basically you're getting everything except just some of the fiber. And you know, for the most part, fiber doesn't play a huge role in our health. What does, in my opinion, are the phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So the first study I saw says that even fruit juices can protect against cardiovascular disease and cancer. And man, that is mind-blowing. You know, people think fruit juice is so bad, but hey, fruit juice protects you from cancer and cardiovascular disease more than any kind of animal product that may, in fact, promote those things. Number 2, fresh fruit juices may help with cognition and memory. You know, it's definitely important to keep our brain healthy, and fruit juices may play a part to do that. Once again, check the links down below in the description for links to some of these actual studies, if you don't believe me. Number 3, this one does not surprise me. There are scientific proven research studies that show drinking fresh fruit juices can increase the antioxidant activity in your body. This is completely amazing to me. I mean, so fruit juice is really not as bad as you think. Fourth reason why fruit juice is not as bad as you think is because the effect of blood sugar is not as bad as what is commonly believed, alright? And once again, check the links down below for the actual scientific studies that I'm using to reference regarding this, alright? So number one point on that aspect is that the fresh fruit juice you make at home has the soluble fiber, and the soluble fiber has to do with lowering and blunting the blood sugar effect when you're drinking the fruit juices. And once again, the sugar is a small part of the fruit juices. Number two, it's scientifically proven that the fruit juices, aside from the soluble fiber that you're going to get when you make it yourself, you're also going to have plenty of other different phytonutrients and phytochemicals. It's some of these very phytonutrients and phytochemicals can also slow down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. So the final point I'd like to make is that in studies, scientific studies mind you, fruit juice consumption did not significantly affect glucose concentrations in the blood or insulin. So I mean, once again, links down below, check it out. You know, now I want to say that I'm not saying just drink fruit juice because it's the healthiest thing in the world, but I will say that, you know, some of the common beliefs about fruit juices, I think, are a little bit over-exaggerated, and you guys shouldn't really be scared of fruit juices. You know, I'd rather be scared of the McDonald's and the other highly processed foods you guys are eating in your lives. So lastly, I want to show you guys my recommendations. Before I do, though, I got to drink some of this fresh fruit juice myself. I got myself hyped up at how good this is, and especially this one, because it has the like lycopene from the strawberries, as well as the anthocyanins, and actually some of the fiber, insoluble fiber, and some of the vitamin C from the pith. That's good. It's actually quite pulpy. It's a really excellent combination. Look at that. Alright, so my recommendations are, number one, choose your fruit wisely that you're going to juice, right? I always try to juice fruits that are lower in sugar. You know, sometimes I'll juice pineapples, but generally it's with vegetables. And, you know, something like a juice like this, you know, the blood oranges, they don't tend to be that sweet anyways, and strawberries, generally, especially if you buy them at the store, they're generally not that sweet anyways, but you're really going to up the amount of phytonutrients in your diet by juicing, you know, these fruits, rather than, you know, super sweet fruits like mango, which in my opinion you should just be eaten anyways because it's almost like a waste to juice it. Number two, how much fruit juice should you drink? So for me personally, I don't like to drink more than more than like 16 ounces at any one time of especially sweet juices, but of course that's up to you, your activity level, your age, all this kind of stuff. I will say that when I was younger, I tended to drink more fruit juices and I could handle them a lot better, especially when I was, you know, exercising more and working out. And, you know, now that I'm just gardening and not like running marathons or doing any kind of strenuous exercise, I really try to taper back on the amount of fruit juice I drink. And if I do drink fruit juice, it's usually mixed in with vegetable juices. Number three, if you guys are still drinking soda, even those natural sodas, or you think diet soda is healthy, which in my opinion, it's totally not healthy, fruit juices would be an excellent alternative to wean yourself off of those more, you know, in my opinion, not so healthy drinks. Even kombucha, that might be says, you know, raw organic on the label, right? Those things are made with basically processed white sugar to feed the kombucha that I know are still left in the kombucha when you drink it because you get a buzz when you drink it. Maybe that's because of the alcohol too. But anyways, in my opinion, the fresh fruit juices are still healthier than all those guys. But, you know, like I said before, start drinking 100% fresh fruit juice. If you got to get off those things to wean yourself off the more junkier food products you're eating, and slowly reduce the amount and percentage of fruit in the juices and increase the amount of vegetables. Number four recommendation is always try to drink more leafy green juices instead of fruit juices, right? Leafy greens have been proven to be the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet with the most amount of phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals, antioxidants, as compared to their caloric count. You know, they're proven as being disease preventing, and you can disease-proof yourself by including more leafy greens. And so try to always go for the vegetables, but hey, once again, if you got to put some fruit in to make the greens taste good, I'd say do it. Tip number 5 is just add enough fruits to make your vegetable juices palatable, is what I'd like to say. That's generally how I use fruits, unless I have fruits that actually just don't taste good at all. Then I'll rather juice them than to just compost the whole thing and throw them away. So lately I got some watermelons that weren't so good. I'll just juice the watermelons. Now I have basically watermelon juice, which is more like, to me, watermelon water, especially when they're not sweet at all. And that's a whole nother topic, is if you just buy fruits at the store, most times they're not that sweet anyways, so you're not getting that much sugar, although you're still getting some of the lycopene and in the watermelons because it's, you know, red. Okay? But yeah, just add enough fruits to make your vegetable juices palatable. And the final comment I like to say is that I rather eat the fresh fruits instead of juice them, right? To me, juicing fruits is like the last resort. If I get a lot of, you know, organic apples for pretty cheap, then I'll be juicing them because I got them for cheap. But otherwise, I'd actually just rather eat the apples, and I would encourage you guys to eat your fresh fruits or blend them, especially instead of blending them, vacuum blending them, even better than blending them, because when you do blend your fruits, you will oxidize some of the nutrients in there, and when you juice them in a slow juicer, you're going to keep more of those phytonutrients, or if you vacuum blend them, you're going to keep more of the phytonutrients along with the fiber. I'll post a link down below to a video I did talking about slow juicing versus vacuum blending. They each have their pros and cons, but I guess in my final words of wisdom, what I'd like to share with you guys today is that fruit juice is not as bad as you may have been taught, as you have been led to believe. If the fruit juice that you are going to drink is healthier than the food you would have eaten otherwise, which most foods, in my opinion, are far worse. If it's a processed packaged food with white flour, white sugar, these things are 10 times at least worse than a fresh fruit juice you guys could make at home. Of course, strive to eat your fruits fresh, right? Eat them fresh. You know, savor each mouthful, chew it down. And the last comment I like to say is even if you're making the juices, vegetables, or fruit juices, take your time when you're drinking them. Not like, I just made the juice, John, tastes nasty, I'm going to plug my nose and chug it down and get it in me. Hey, that's definitely better than probably not drinking it at all, but you want to savor it, right? I've used a good quantity of blood oranges and strawberries to get in here, and think about how long would it take you to eat that amount of blood oranges and strawberries, right? And that's how long it should take you to drink your juice. Get a mouthful of juice, take a swig, swish it around your mouth. Actually, before you even drink it, smell it. Man, this smells so good because it smells like fresh strawberries and oranges. Oh my God, amazing. But yeah, smell your juices before you drink it, swish it around your mouth. Pretend you're chewing when you're drinking your juice, you know. Let it hang out in your mouth, let some saliva mix in there, and swallow every mouthful. Don't just like chug it down, drink it in a rush. We want to do what's called conscious eating, or in this case, conscious drinking. And I mean conscious drinking of fresh fruit and vegetable juices, not alcohol and other beverages you guys may be consuming. Anyways, I think that's the end of this episode today. I would like to say that if you guys enjoyed this episode, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to continue to make these educational videos, share with you guys the information I've learned over my 23-year journey of drinking fruits and vegetable juices on an almost everyday basis when I'm not traveling. Also, be sure to check the link down below to the Omega VSJ843, which in my opinion is the best vertical slow juicer for juicing fruits. I have a video on how to specifically juice pineapples in there in the VSJ if you want to. Fruits can be tricky to juice in many juicers because they may clog or back up the juicer or just basically not get a good yield. The VSJ I find works fairly well, and especially when juicing fruits, you want to select nice, hard, and firm ones. Other thing I want to say is that if you guys purchase from me, I can continue to make these videos, which I love to do, and share my information. So, you know, please visit my website and make your purchase. I do want to let you guys know that we do have a price match policy. Don't think, oh, I could save $5 from ordering it from some other big box store. We will match the price so that we could gain your business, not only by the education work that I do, but also on the price if that is important to you, because I know it's important to a lot of you guys. But so I want to thank you guys in advance who have supported me in the past, and thank you guys in advance who will support me in the future, so I can continue to spread the mission of how beneficial juicing fruits and vegetables really are. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else that thinks juicing fruits and fresh fruit juices are the devil, because actually they're one of the healthiest things on the planet, in my opinion, you could drink, maybe next to fresh vegetable juices, which are probably better. Also, be sure to check the link down below to check out all my other videos. I have over 500 episodes on this channel at this time, teaching guys about all aspects of juicers, comparing the juicers to make sure you guys buy the right one for you. Also, be sure to click the subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes that have come out. I bet every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 500 episodes at this time, teach you guys all aspects and comparing the different juicers. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.